I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures. I'm willing to accept that the Great Pyramid was largely completed by the ancient Egyptians. But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy.
Imagine stepping back in time, way before the majestic pyramids of Egypt were ever conceived, and finding yourself exploring the Blombos Cave on the southern coast of South Africa. Discovered in the 1990s by Professor Christopher Henshelwood, this cave has turned out to be a treasure trove of artifacts dating back about 100,000 years to the Middle Stone Age, offering a unique glimpse into early human culture.
Are we looking at the traces of a forgotten episode in human history? I think so. I think that's what's going on here.
The variety of artifacts found in Blombos Cave is nothing short of astounding. Among these treasures are some of the earliest known bone tools. These weren't just rudimentary tools, but were delicately crafted, indicating a high level of skill and an advanced understanding of materials long before similar tools appeared in other parts of the world. The sophistication in these tools suggests that early humans were far more advanced than previously thought. But the artifacts don't stop there. The cave has also yielded pieces of ochre engraved with geometric patterns. Far from being mere decorations, these engravings are believed to represent some of the earliest forms of symbolic communication and abstract art, hinting at the complex cognitive abilities of their creators.
There's more and more evidence that cave art that was attributed to Homo sapiens was actually done by Neanderthals.
This ability to think abstractly and to plan suggests a significant leap in human cognitive development, often referred to as the cognitive revolution. Moreover, the discovery of shell beads in the cave points to a culture that valued personal adornment and possibly had social or ritualistic practices involving these items. These beads could have been used in necklaces or bracelets, potentially serving as a form of currency or social stratification. When we compare these ancient engravings to the later, more detailed Lascaux cave paintings in France, a fascinating picture emerges. Although the Lascaux paintings, which date to about 17,000 years ago, are more visually complex, the abstract patterns and use of materials like ochre at Blombos may represent an earlier form of the same cognitive evolution towards symbolic thought and communication. This comparison not only underscores the continuity in human artistic endeavors, but also highlights the depth and richness of human creativity from its very beginnings. These findings from Blombos Cave challenge our previous assumptions about prehistoric humans and provide deep insights into the evolution of human cognition, artistic expression, and social structures. They paint a picture of a complex, nuanced society engaged in sophisticated practices and thought processes long before many other known civilizations. Let's travel from the ancient ingenuity displayed in South Africa's Blombos Cave to another fascinating archaeological site, Çatalhöyük in south-central Turkey. Discovered by James Mellart in the late 1950s and later excavated by Ian Hodder, Çatalhöyük has been a goldmine of information about Neolithic urban life, dating back between 9,500 to 7,700 years ago. Covering about 32 acres, Çatalhöyük isn't your typical ancient city. The settlement was incredibly well planned, with houses made of mud bricks built so close to each other that the roofs served dual purposes: ceilings for the dwellings they topped, and terraces for the adjacent upper levels. This unique architectural style suggests a highly organized society with no clear signs of social stratification, which is pretty unusual for such an early form of urban development. The residents of Çatalhöyük had a vibrant cultural life, as evidenced by the elaborate frescoes adorning the walls of their homes. These murals, which are among the earliest known examples of narrative art, depict detailed hunting scenes and vultures, providing a window into the community's beliefs, rituals, and the environment around them. Religion appears to have played a central role in daily life at Çatalhöyük. This is indicated by the numerous figurines and shrines unearthed during excavations, with a notable prevalence of female symbols and figures suggesting potentially matriarchal elements in their social structure. One of the most intriguing theories about Çatalhöyük is that it might have been an egalitarian society. The uniformity in house size and communal living arrangements support the idea of a proto-communist social order, where there wasn't a significant emphasis on social hierarchy. This is further backed by the absence of grand tombs or palatial structures, which are usually indicative of pronounced social stratification. These comparisons not only highlight the diversity in how early urban societies could be structured and function, but also enrich our understanding of human social evolution. As we delve deeper into these ancient cities, we continue to uncover how our ancestors lived, worked, and formed communities, providing valuable insights into the past that shape our knowledge of human history. The story of the Derinkuyu underground city in Cappadocia, Turkey, reads like something out of a fascinating mystery novel, complete with accidental discoveries and architectural wonders.
It's really important to understand that archaeology is often driven by accidental finds.
Located in a region celebrated for its unique geological features, particularly the soft volcanic rock that has been easily sculpted for millennia, Derinkuyu is the largest of the many underground cities carved into this landscape. Our tale begins in 1963, when an ordinary homeowner in Derinkuyu, known only to a few, decided to make some home improvements. Little did he know that knocking down a wall in his basement would open a door to the past. Behind the wall was a passage that led to a complex network of rooms and tunnels extending deep beneath the earth. What the homeowner had discovered was not a simple series of rooms, but an elaborate subterranean city that stretched down as much as 85 meters and included at least 18 levels. This ancient city wasn't just a refuge, it was a fully functional community with everything from homes and communal gathering places to schools, places of worship, and tombs. When local authorities were alerted to the find, archaeologists rushed to explore this underground marvel. They were astounded to discover that Derinkuyu could have supported as many as 20,000 people along with their animals and stored food. The city's design was remarkably sophisticated, with ventilation shafts that ensured fresh air could reach even the deepest levels, similar to modern-day air conditioning systems. The city's architecture suggested that its creators were not only skilled builders, but also clever strategists. Massive stone doors could be rolled across passageways to seal off the city from invaders, and narrow tunnels would have forced any intruders to enter in single file, making them easier to defend against. Derinkuyu's design is often compared to the labyrinth of Minos from Greek mythology, intended to confuse or trap unwanted guests with its complex layout and her minimal exits. This feature, along with its ventilation and security measures, highlights a level of planning and engineering that parallels the sophistication of certain modern infrastructures. The Altamira Cave, nestled in the picturesque Cantabria region of northern Spain, was brought to international attention in 1879 by Marcelino Sanz de Sotuola, who famously declared that its stunning cave paintings were of prehistoric origin. This initial claim faced a great deal of skepticism, but was eventually verified, proving the paintings to be an astonishing 36,000 years old, dating back to the Upper Paleolithic period. Renowned for their vivid depiction of wild mammals and human hands, the paintings of Altamira are celebrated for their vibrant polychrome techniques. Artists of the time utilized an impressive palette created from charcoal, ochre, and hematite to produce colors ranging from deep blacks and yellows to rich reds. These pigments were not just randomly splashed on, but were applied meticulously with tools like fingers, fur pads, or flint tools, pointing to a sophisticated understanding of materials and methods. The subjects of these paintings, mainly bison, horses, and boars, are portrayed with a remarkable sense of movement and dimensionality that is rarely seen in other Paleolithic art. This dynamic portrayal suggests that these creatures were not only important food sources, but also held a significant place in the cultural and spiritual life of the people. The detailed depiction of their anatomy and behavior reflects a deep observational skill and suggests that the artists were highly knowledgeable about their subjects. The realism and artistry of Altamira's cave paintings, especially the famous bison scenes, highlight the painters' extraordinary skills and their keen eye for detail. Some scholars believe that these paintings were used in rituals or shamanistic practices aimed at ensuring a successful hunt or invoking animal spirits, indicating that the cave might have been a place of great spiritual importance. Altamira's artists mastered the art of creating depth and movement through adept shading and contouring, focusing more on realism and possibly the spiritual connection between the human and animal worlds.
Thoth talks in the Emerald Tablets about being able to go into these halls of Amenti where he had rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe is the Serapeum in Saqqara. And he would go into these gigantic stone boxes and he would then transfer his consciousness from his body into another body. And he would leave the body that he left inside of one of those gigantic boxes, one of those gigantic diorite stone boxes for 100 years while it recharged itself and rejuvenated. While he said he walks amongst men, but unlike a man. And he would do this for eons. He would transfer from body to body, not bodies he stole, bodies he created, that he created himself through probably some of the advanced form of stem cell technology. And he would walk amongst men, but unlike a man. And he was known all around the planet. And it's an incredible tablet that talks about the reigns of kings.
Yeah.
Some kings ruled for 28,800 years, 14,000 years. I mean, 20,000. If the numbers are insane.
These are not Egyptian?
This is no, not Egyptian. These are Anunnaki.
Imagine a world where time itself is a malleable force, where the boundary between life and death blurs, and immortality is no longer a dream, but a carefully guarded secret. This is the legend of Thoth, the mysterious god of wisdom from ancient Egypt. He is said to have discovered the key to eternal life, not through mysticism, but through methods that defy modern understanding. Could the ancient Egyptians have had access to technologies beyond our grasp, or is there something deeper hidden in the sands of time? Our journey begins at the Serapeum of Saqqara, an ancient site where massive stone boxes, weighing over 70 tons, were carved with such precision that even modern engineers are baffled. These boxes, made from solid diorite, one of the hardest stones in the world, seem impossible to have been created with the tools of the ancient world. But what if these were not merely tombs for the dead? What if they were advanced technologies, allowing beings like Thoth to rejuvenate and transfer their consciousness into new bodies, effectively cheating death? Legend tells us that Thoth would leave his body in one of these boxes for 100 years, allowing it to recharge and heal while his essence continued in another form. Could this explain why Thoth, the god of knowledge, was so revered across cultures and millennia? If these rejuvenation chambers are real, could they hold the secrets to eternal life? And was Thoth's quest for immortality unique, or did others throughout history share this secret? To find more answers, we turn to Mesopotamia, where the Sumerian kings list records the reigns of rulers who lived for tens of thousands of years. Among them were the Anunnaki, demigods with both divine and earthly attributes. Some reigned for 28,000 years, others for 14,000 years, lifespans that defy all reason. What could possibly explain these impossibly long reigns? Did these rulers possess knowledge that could extend their lives, similar to Thoth? Or was their understanding of life and genetic engineering even more advanced? The mystery deepens when we examine the Great Flood, a cataclysmic event mentioned in both Sumerian and biblical texts. This disaster marked the end of the antediluvian kings who ruled before the flood. Afterward, kingship was reintroduced, but the reigns were far shorter. Some rulers lived for hundreds of years, but the era of reigns, stretching tens of thousands of years, was over. Why did this change occur? Could it be that the Anunnaki, who once ruled humanity, decided to limit the power of their successors? The texts suggest that these new rulers were still connected to the divine, but they were no longer immortal. Could the Great Flood have been a deliberate reset of human civilization to control human potential, preventing any individual from becoming too powerful? This leads us to an intriguing connection between ancient myth and modern science, genetic engineering. We know today that the human genome contains a unique anomaly, chromosome number 2, which appears to have been artificially fused. Geneticists estimate that this fusion occurred around 200,000 years ago, a timeline that aligns with the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki creating humans. Could this be evidence of genetic modification? Were humans deliberately created to serve the Anunnaki, not just as laborers but as subordinates? Could our very lifespan, about 120 years, have been engineered as a form of control? Modern science also tells us that telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes, limit how many times a cell can divide. Once they degrade, we age and eventually die. In the Bible, it states that man's days shall be 120 years. Could this be a reflection of deliberate genetic tampering by the gods? Was humanity created with a built-in expiration date, ensuring we never lived long enough to rediscover the ancient knowledge of our creators? One of the most compelling stories supporting this theory is the Tower of Babel. Humans, united in their ambition, began constructing a tower to reach the heavens. Their goal was to reclaim the lost knowledge of the gods. But their efforts were stopped by Yahweh, also known as Enlil in Sumerian texts, who feared humanity was advancing too quickly. Enlil intervened, confusing their languages and scattering them across the earth. More importantly, he shortened human lifespans, ensuring no single generation would live long enough to challenge the gods again. Could the Tower of Babel have been more than just a symbol of human pride? Was it an effort to reclaim our lost potential, one that was deliberately suppressed by the gods? Could it be that our entire history has been shaped by a hidden agenda, a grand design orchestrated by beings like the Anunnaki? Have these forces deliberately limited human development to prevent us from reaching our full potential? Are our lifespans, societal divisions, and languages all part of a long-term plan to keep humanity from rediscovering its ancient knowledge? As we piece together this ancient puzzle, we are left with unsettling questions. Were we created with limitations deliberately set to keep us subservient? Could it be that the division of cultures and the loss of ancient knowledge were part of a grand design to control human progress? Or is there a forgotten history, a legacy waiting to be rediscovered, that could unlock the mysteries of our origins, and perhaps our future? But what if these stories are not just myths? What if they are fragments of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that could offer profound insight into the hidden history of human existence? Let's return to the idea of genetic manipulation. Modern science has uncovered a unique anomaly in the human genome, chromosome 2, fused in a way that no other species on Earth exhibits. This genetic event is believed to have occurred around 200,000 years ago, a timeline eerily close to the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki creating humans for labor. If this fusion was deliberate, what does it mean for humanity? Could we have been engineered to serve the needs of an advanced race wielding power beyond our understanding? Here's the real question. Could we still be under this influence today? As we unlock the mysteries of the human genome, are we on the verge of rediscovering the knowledge hidden from us for thousands of years? Could telomeres, once thought to be a natural limitation, hold the key to extending life far beyond what we've believed is possible? And if so, are there still forces at play, preventing humanity from rising to its full potential? The truth may be hidden in ancient texts, unexplored history, or perhaps even encoded within our DNA. As we continue to explore these mysteries, the lines between myth, science, and reality will blur. The question remains, are we ready to discover the truth?
was the consensus of archaeologists that megalithic architecture was beyond the capacities of hunter-gatherers and required the presence of long-term settled agricultural communities to evolve. No megalithic architecture had been found anywhere in the world that was more than 6,000 years old. In fact, that was one of the main arguments that the archaeological police used to try to dismiss John West and Robert Schoch. They said, show us another culture that's 12,000 years old anywhere in the world, and we might listen to you. But we know that there is no culture capable of creating anything like the Sphinx until 4,500 years ago. That changed completely with Göbekli Tepe, which is a deliberately buried site, deliberately buried 11,600 years ago, and thus sealed, and thus an intact archaeological scene. And the evidence from Göbekli Tepe is that this site is 11,600 years old. It dates to the end of a period called the Younger Dryas. My goodness, if you're capable of creating these 20-ton megalithic pillars and this huge site, then you're certainly capable of creating the Great Sphinx.
In 1963, a routine archaeological survey in southeastern Turkey uncovered a curious site atop a hill known as Göbekli Tepe, or Belly Hill. At first glance, the site appeared unremarkable. A scattering of broken limestone slabs lay across the hill's summit, leading researchers to believe they had stumbled upon little more than a medieval cemetery. With nothing to suggest otherwise, they simply made a note of it and moved on. However, this seemingly insignificant site would later be revealed as one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, forever altering our understanding of early human civilization. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt revisited the site during his own survey of the region. Unlike those who came before him, Schmidt didn't just move on. Instead, he felt that Göbekli Tepe held a much deeper significance. His intuition proved to be right. Beneath the surface of the hill, Schmidt uncovered an ancient marvel, a series of massive megalithic structures, some reaching as high as 18 feet and weighing up to 50 tons. These stones, arranged in circular patterns, were intricately carved with depictions of humanoid figures, animals, and abstract symbols. As the excavation continued, something even more astonishing emerged. This site was ancient, far more ancient than anyone had expected. Radiocarbon dating placed its age between 9,600 and 8,200 BCE, making it over 5,000 years older than Stonehenge. Göbekli Tepe was now recognized as the oldest known megalithic site in the world. The question then arose: who could have created this monumental structure over 11,000 years ago, at a time when humanity was still presumed to be in the throes of a hunter-gatherer existence? How did they manage to move these enormous stones and carve them with such precision in an era so long before the advent of writing or advanced tools? These mysteries only deepened as further studies of Göbekli Tepe revealed evidence of a permanent settlement around the site. This new finding suggested that the builders of Göbekli Tepe were not nomadic hunter-gatherers, but rather members of an advanced civilization, a civilization older than any previously recorded. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe not only challenged traditional timelines of human development, but also raised profound questions about the purpose of the site. Why would such an immense and intricate structure be built so long ago? What drove these ancient people to invest so much effort into its construction? As archaeologists and scholars debated the answers, one theory began to gain traction. Göbekli Tepe may have been one of the world's first religious centers, perhaps even a place of worship for one of humanity's earliest organized belief systems. Schmidt himself called it the first human-built holy place, and likened it to a cathedral perched atop a hill. Others speculated that Göbekli Tepe might have served as an astronomical observatory, aligned with the stars and designed to track celestial events such as the movement of the constellation Sirius. Such a purpose would indicate that the builders possessed a deep understanding of astronomy, far earlier than previously thought. Both theories held tantalizing implications for our understanding of early human culture and spirituality. But in 2017, a new and even more significant theory emerged that promised to completely rewrite history. That year, two researchers, chemical engineers Martin Sweatman and Dimitrios Tsikritsis, turned their attention to one of Göbekli Tepe's most enigmatic features, the vulture stone. This intricately carved pillar, featuring depictions of animals and abstract figures, had long puzzled scientists. But Sweatman and Tsikritsis believed that the vulture stone held a hidden message. After close study, they concluded that the carvings were not just decorative, but rather encoded a form of information. In their view, the animals depicted on the stone represented ancient constellations, such as Scorpio, represented by a scorpion, and Libra, symbolized by a duck-like figure. At the center of the carving was a circular shape, which the researchers interpreted as the sun. According to Sweatman and Tsikritsis, the vulture stone was not merely a work of art, it was a time capsule. They believed it recorded the alignment of the constellations at a specific point in history, providing a date stamp for a significant event in human history. But what event could have been so monumental that it was memorialized on this ancient stone? The answer, according to the researchers, lay in another part of the carving. A series of square symbols at the top of the pillar, accompanied by strange descending lines. Sweatman and Tsikritsis proposed that these symbols represented fragments of a comet falling to Earth, while the headless man depicted in the bottom right corner symbolized the devastation caused by the event. In their seminal article published in Mediterranean Archaeology and Archaeometry, the researchers put forward a bold hypothesis. The vulture stone was a record of a cataclysmic event, the Younger Dryas impact. The Younger Dryas event was a period of sudden global cooling, lasting approximately from 12,900 to 11,600 years ago, during which Earth experienced dramatic shifts in climate. Geological records show that this time was marked by super tsunamis, widespread flooding, massive wildfires, and the extinction of many species. But what caused this global catastrophe had long been a matter of debate. One of the leading theories was that the Younger Dryas was triggered by a comet impact, which vaporized the ice caps covering much of North America and plunged the planet into chaos. If true, this theory would have staggering implications. It would suggest that not only did a sophisticated civilization exist more than 12,000 years ago, but that this civilization also had the capability to record astronomical events with precision. This raises a host of new questions. Who were the builders of Göbekli Tepe? How did they possess such advanced knowledge? And why have they been absent from the pages of history for so long? The possibility that Göbekli Tepe contains a record of one of the most devastating events in human prehistory opens a new chapter in our understanding of early civilization. As researchers continue to unearth the secrets of the site, it's clear that Göbekli Tepe may not have been the only place where evidence of this catastrophic event is preserved. Indeed, it seems that the builders of Göbekli Tepe were not the only ones affected by the Younger Dryas event. In the region surrounding Göbekli Tepe, another set of ancient structures provides clues to humanity's response to the disaster. Turkey is home to a network of underground cities, some of which stretch for miles beneath the Earth's surface. These vast subterranean complexes, such as those found in Cappadocia, have long been a source of wonder and mystery. Archaeologists have long speculated about the purpose of these underground cities. Were they used as shelters during invasions or natural disasters? Some believe these cities may have been built in response to the Younger Dryas event, serving as sanctuaries for those trying to escape the extreme climate conditions that ravaged the Earth during this period. Intriguingly, the ancient religion of Zoroastrianism may hold additional clues to this puzzle. Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest known organized religions, is thought to have originated in the region of modern-day Iran, which shares a border with Turkey. The religion's sacred texts, such as the Vendidad, contain stories that bear a striking resemblance to the events of the Younger Dryas. In the Vendidad, a man named Yima is warned of an impending catastrophe, a severe winter that will cover the earth in ice and snow. In response, Yima is instructed to build a multi-level underground city where he is to gather 2,000 human couples and every kind of animal. This city, much like Noah's Ark, is meant to preserve life through the catastrophe. When the Younger Dryas deep freeze ended, Yima's people re-emerged from their underground shelter to repopulate the earth. Could the story of Yima be a distant memory of the Younger Dryas event, passed down through oral tradition? And could the underground cities of Turkey be the real-world counterparts to the shelters described in the Vendidad? If so, then Göbekli Tepe may not only commemorate the catastrophic event itself, but also the survival of humanity through it. As we continue to investigate the mysteries of Göbekli Tepe and the underground cities of Turkey, the pieces of a much larger puzzle begin to fall into place. Together, these ancient structures point to the existence of an advanced civilization that flourished before the Younger Dryas, more than 12,000 years ago. This civilization, it seems, possessed the knowledge and skills to construct monumental buildings, track the stars, and survive cataclysmic events. Yet for reasons still unknown, this civilization vanished from history, leaving only cryptic traces behind. The implications of these findings are profound. If Göbekli Tepe is indeed a record of the Younger Dryas event, it would not only rewrite the history of human civilization, but also challenge our understanding of early humanity's capabilities. Far from being simple hunter-gatherers, the people who built Göbekli Tepe may have been part of a sophisticated culture that has been lost to time. In the coming years, as more of Göbekli Tepe is excavated and more underground cities are explored, we may finally begin to unravel the full story of this lost civilization. And in doing so, we may come to realize that human history stretches back much further than we ever imagined. The secrets of Göbekli Tepe and the mysteries of the Younger Dryas catastrophe are waiting to be uncovered, and with them, a deeper understanding of our past.
What quantum computing is going to be capable of, that's the kind of stuff we're thinking about, right?
Right, yeah. You see, quantum computers are the ultimate computers because they're computing on atoms. If there are aliens in outer space, and I think there are, it means that they also have perfected quantum computers.
Quantum computers hold the potential to revolutionize various sectors by performing computations that are currently impractical or impossible for classical computers. However, the same capabilities that make quantum computers so promising also introduce several concerns that could be considered terrifying in certain contexts. Imagine being able to crack the toughest safes online with a brand new kind of computer. That's the fear with quantum computing.
The CIA is very much concerned about it because these quantum computers can crack any known digital code.
These machines use the strange laws of the quantum world to solve problems that would take regular computers years, even centuries. And one of their biggest threats? Our online security. Here's the thing. A lot of the encryption keeping your data safe relies on difficult math problems, like factoring giant numbers so big they'd take a regular computer forever to crack. But quantum computers could zoom through these problems in seconds thanks to something called Shor's algorithm. This is a recipe for disaster. Encryption systems like RSA, which keeps your online shopping and banking info safe, could be wide open. Scary, right? But it's not all doom and gloom. There are other encryption methods like ECC that use different math problems. The trouble is, quantum computers could crack those too with some tweaking. So, what does this mean for our online world? It means we need to prepare for a future where the old ways of encryption might not be enough. Scientists are working on new methods, called quantum-resistant cryptography, to keep our data safe in the age of superpowered computers. The switch won't be easy, It's like upgrading all the locks in your house at once. But it's important. We need to be ready before quantum computers become powerful enough to crack the codes that keep our information hidden. Think of it like the code-breaking breakthroughs of previous war times. Quantum computing could be a game changer, but this time for cybersecurity. The race is on to develop these machines, and whoever gets there first could have a huge advantage.
So there's a race to see who can get the first quantum computer to put on the marketplace.
It's a complicated situation, but one thing's for sure. The future of online security hinges on outsmarting these superpowered computers. When it comes to quantum computing, IBM has been a real trailblazer. They were there at the beginning, funding research into this mind-blowing technology way back when it was just theoretical ideas. They saw the potential of using the strange rules of the quantum world to build superpowered computers, and they haven't stopped pushing the boundaries ever since. Here's a glimpse into what IBM has done to make quantum computing a reality. First, they invested heavily in the groundwork. They funded research into the basic principles of how quantum computers could work and what kind of problems they might be able to solve. This wasn't just about building a machine, it was about understanding the entirely new way these machines would process information. IBM also realized they couldn't go it alone. Quantum computing is complex and requires experts from many different fields working together. So they teamed up with universities, research labs, and other companies to combine their brainpower. This collaborative approach has been key to making big leaps forward in this rapidly developing field. But IBM wasn't just focused on theory. They knew they needed to build the actual machines to make this a reality. One of their big breakthroughs was developing these things called superconducting qubits. These are the building blocks of quantum computers, and they're like tiny quantum switches that can be flipped on and off. Keeping these qubits stable and working together is super challenging, but IBM has made huge strides in this area. They've also been busy building bigger and better quantum processors. It all started with just a few qubits, but now they're up to machines with over 50 qubits. Each new generation is not only bigger, but also better at handling the delicate quantum calculations. There's a catch though. Quantum computers are error-prone. To make them truly useful, they need a way to fix these errors. IBM is working on quantum error correction, a fancy way of saying they're figuring out how to make these machines more reliable. It's a tough nut to crack, but it's essential for building large-scale quantum computers. Beyond the hardware, IBM is also writing the software for these machines. They're developing quantum algorithms, which are basically special sets of instructions designed to take advantage of a quantum computer's unique abilities. These algorithms could help us solve problems that are impossible for even the most powerful classical computers today. One way IBM is making this quantum knowledge more accessible is through a project called IBM Quantum Experience. It's basically a cloud platform that lets anyone play around with real quantum computers. Pretty cool, right? They've also created open-source software tools called Qiskit, which gives developers a leg up in building quantum programs. Unlike your trusty laptop, quantum computers are built differently. They crunch data using the strange laws of the quantum world, and that means they operate on a whole new level. Let's see how IBM's quantum computers stack up against our everyday machines. First up, energy consumption. Here's the good news. At the quantum level, these machines are pretty frugal. They use qubits, not transistors, and that keeps their energy needs way down compared to classical computers. The flip side is they need super cold temperatures, think close to absolute zero, to function properly. Keeping things that chilly requires a lot of energy, but it's a necessary evil to make the whole quantum magic work. The real benefit of quantum computers comes when they tackle specific problems. Imagine needing to solve a super complex puzzle. A classical computer might take forever, but a quantum computer could zoom through it, using way less energy in the process. This efficiency comes from their ability to do tons of calculations at once, thanks to a special property called superposition. Here's the catch. Quantum computers are still under development. They're not ready to replace your laptop just yet. For everyday tasks, classical computers are still the champ. But for certain problems, like simulating complex molecules or cracking tough encryption codes, quantum computers have the potential to be game changers. It's like having a superpowered tool for specific jobs. Quantum computers are like super-powered research tools, opening doors to incredible discoveries in medicine, materials science, and artificial intelligence. Imagine simulating the building blocks of life or designing new materials with mind-blowing properties. That's the kind of future quantum computing promises. Here's a glimpse of the exciting possibilities. In medicine, quantum computers could accelerate drug discovery by simulating how drugs interact with our bodies on a super-detailed level. This could lead to faster development of new treatments and cures. But quantum computing isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There's a flip side to this powerful technology. Because these machines are so good at crunching data, they could also be used to create highly sophisticated weapons systems or even develop new types of threats. Scary, right? The concern is that these technologies could fall into the wrong hands or be developed without proper safeguards. Imagine powerful weapons making decisions on their own, or new diseases emerging from unintended consequences. That's why it's important to carefully consider the ethical and safety implications of quantum computing alongside its potential benefits. Think of it like building a powerful new tool. You can use it to build a house or break things. It depends on your intentions. Quantum computing is the same way. We need to make sure the rules are in place to use this technology for good and avoid any unintended harm. So quantum computing is this super powerful tool, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? That's why we need to think carefully about the ethical and legal implications before we dive headfirst into this new world. Imagine developing a cure for a disease using a quantum computer, but then someone uses the same technology to create a deadly virus. That's the kind of scenario we want to avoid. Here's what needs to happen. First, we need clear guidelines about how to use quantum computing ethically. This means thinking about privacy, security, and how this technology might affect the environment and society as a whole. Basically, we want to make sure the good outweighs the bad. We also need to develop regulations to keep up with the rapid pace of quantum advancements. Think of it like traffic rules for this powerful new technology. These rules need to be flexible enough to adapt as things change, but strong enough to prevent misuse. International cooperation is key here, so everyone's on the same page. Another important piece of the puzzle is transparency. The public needs to understand what's going on with quantum computing, both the good and the potential risks. This way, we can have an informed conversation about how to develop this technology in a way that benefits everyone. Companies like IBM are already thinking about these issues. They're developing quantum computers, but also working with others to explore the ethical implications. It's a good model to follow, kind of like how we developed safety regulations alongside advancements in other powerful technologies. Remember the CRISPR gene editing tool? That's a great example. It has the potential to cure diseases, but it also raises ethical concerns. We need to learn from these situations and make sure quantum computing goes down a responsible path. With careful planning and open communication, we can harness the power of quantum computing for good. Google's quantum computer, Sycamore, has been making waves in the tech world, and for good reason. In 2019, it achieved something called quantum supremacy, which is a fancy way of saying it did a task so complex that the world's most advanced classical computer would need about 10,000 years to complete it. Sycamore did it in just 200 seconds.
Now, let me ask you a question. Does Mother Nature use zeros and ones, zeros and ones?
Imagine trying to solve a puzzle that everyone says will take an eternity and you do it over a coffee break. That's the level of achievement we're talking about here. This wasn't just any task. Sycamore was verifying the randomness of numbers produced by a quantum circuit. It might sound like a party trick, but it's a core demonstration of what makes quantum computing so revolutionary. It can tackle problems so big and complex that they're currently out of reach for our conventional computers.
A quantum computer, I think, will basically change how we do everything. Everything will be in a different level.
Now let's talk about what makes Sycamore tick. It's equipped with 54 qubits, which are the quantum version of computer bits, though during its moment of fame, one was taking a break, leaving 53 qubits to handle the computation. These aren't your regular bits, they're made from superconducting circuits and can be controlled and read out electronically. What's really cool is how these qubits are arranged. They're set up in a two-dimensional grid that allows for high connectivity, making it easier for them to interact and solve complex quantum algorithms. However, quantum systems, including Sycamore, are a bit like high-performance athletes. They're incredibly capable, but also prone to errors.
What is not a challenge? Everything is a challenge, yeah.
The error rate of quantum gates, which are operations on qubits, is critically low in Sycamore. This is important because it means Sycamore can handle the intricate dance of quantum computations without stepping on its own toes too often. One might wonder what this all means for the future. The type of problem Sycamore solved opens the door to future applications in materials science and even complex system simulations, areas where classical computers struggle because of the sheer size of the computational space. But what about the energy it takes to run something as powerful as Sycamore? You might be surprised to learn that quantum processors like Sycamore are quite energy efficient, especially when compared to their classical counterparts. The operations within a quantum computer governed by the principles of quantum mechanics don't require the energy-intensive electrical currents that classical computers do. Most of the energy goes into keeping the quantum processor in the right environment rather than the computations themselves. When we compare the energy footprint, classical supercomputers like Summit can gulp down around 10 megawatt of power. In contrast, the direct operational energy use of a quantum computer like Sycamore is significantly lower for the computational tasks themselves. However, if we consider the whole system, including the cooling, the story gets a bit more complex. Even so, the energy efficiency of quantum computers points towards a more sustainable form of computing, especially as we refine the technology further. Continuing our journey into the fascinating world of quantum computing with Google's Sycamore, let's dive into one of the most critical components of its operation: the cooling system. The heart of this system is something known as a dilution refrigerator. These are not your average refrigerators. They use a mixture of helium-3 and helium-4 isotopes to achieve temperatures close to absolute zero. That's less than 100 millikelvin or a chilling minus 273 Celsius. The science behind it, called dilution refrigeration, takes advantage of the unique thermodynamic properties of these helium isotopes to cool the system effectively. This ultra-cold environment is vital for the qubits to maintain their coherence, allowing them to perform quantum operations without the interference of thermal energy. The sophistication of dilution refrigerators makes them akin to engineering marvels. Imagine creating a place within our labs that's colder than the vast expanses of outer space. These refrigerators manage to do just that, becoming one of the few places in the universe where such extreme conditions are artificially maintained. This isn't just for the sake of breaking records. Operating at these frigid temperatures is essential for reducing noise and quantum decoherence, which in turn preserves the qubit's quantum states, ensuring the accuracy and reliability of the quantum computations. But what's truly remarkable is the environment within these dilution refrigerators. The quantum processor, along with its qubits, is suspended in a carefully engineered environment that shields it from external magnetic fields, cosmic rays, and even stray photons. This isolation is crucial. It's what allows the quantum processor to preserve the delicate quantum states of the qubits during computation, akin to performing a high-wire act without a safety net, where even the slightest interference could have significant consequences. As we look to the future, the quest for even more efficient quantum computing continues, with researchers exploring new cooling technologies. The goal here is to reduce the energy requirements of quantum computing systems further. Through advances in material science and low-temperature physics, we might see refrigeration methods that allow larger quantum processors to operate at these critical low temperatures with less energy, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in quantum computing even further. Now let's touch upon how data is stored in a quantum computer like Sycamore. Unlike classical computing, where data is stored as either zeros or ones, quantum computing uses qubits. Qubits can exist in a state of 0, 1, or both simultaneously, thanks to a principle called superposition. This ability to be in multiple states at once allows for the representation and manipulation of a vast amount of information, with a relatively small number of qubits, showcasing the power and potential of quantum computing to revolutionize how we process information in the future. As we delve deeper into the realm of quantum computing with marvels like Google's Sycamore leading the charge, it's hard not to be captivated by the sheer potential of what lies ahead. The achievement of quantum supremacy, where Sycamore outperformed the world's most advanced classical computer in a specific task, is just the tip of the iceberg. It introduces us to the quantum advantage in the unseen, a theory that suggests quantum computers might unlock solutions to problems so complex and vast that they're currently beyond our imagination. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean of computational possibilities, where quantum computing could redefine fields like cryptography by both challenging current security methods and pioneering new forms of secure communication. Drawing a parallel from history, Sycamore's achievement is reminiscent of the Wright brothers' first powered flight in 1903. Just as their invention opened the skies to new possibilities, quantum computing promises to unlock new dimensions in computation, encryption, and problem-solving. Yet, much like the early days of aviation, quantum computing is in its nascent stages, facing significant hurdles and errors. However, just as aviation evolved to revolutionize our world, the potential of quantum computing to transform the digital landscape is immense, marking the dawn of a new era in technology. But with great power comes great responsibility, and the advent of quantum computing brings a spectrum of risks and dangers that warrant close attention. At the forefront is the potential for cryptographic security breakdowns. Quantum computers, with their ability to run algorithms like Shor's, pose a threat to the cryptographic systems safeguarding our digital world, including banking, communications, and online information. This capability to decrypt currently secure data underscores the urgent need for quantum-resistant cryptographic methods to protect our digital infrastructure. Moreover, the risk to data privacy cannot be overstated. The prospect of quantum computers retroactively decrypting sensitive personal, financial, and national security information is a stark reminder of the potential for privacy erosion. This scenario raises alarms not just for individual privacy, but also highlights the risks of corporate and state-level espionage in a quantum computing age. The global race towards quantum supremacy also brings geopolitical considerations into play. As nations and corporations vie for dominance in this emerging field, the balance of power on the international stage could shift dramatically. The entity that first achieves a fully operational, large-scale quantum computer will gain unprecedented advantages in intelligence, military capabilities, and economic power, potentially reshaping global security dynamics. Lastly, the introduction of quantum computing is set to revolutionize algorithm development and artificial intelligence. However, this new paradigm also brings with it the potential for unforeseen vulnerabilities. The unpredictable nature of quantum AI algorithms could lead to risks in critical decision-making processes, particularly in areas such as autonomous vehicles and weapon systems, where the stakes are exceptionally high. As we stand on the brink of this quantum computing frontier, it's clear that while the possibilities are boundless, so too are the challenges and risks. Navigating this landscape will require not just technological innovation, but also ethical consideration, global cooperation, and a commitment to developing safeguards that ensure the benefits of quantum computing are realized while minimizing its potential dangers.
And on this record are a sampling of pictures, sounds, greetings, and an hour and a half of exquisite music.
The Voyager Golden Records, launched aboard the Voyager spacecrafts in 1977, serve as a cosmic message in a bottle, a way to introduce humanity to potential extraterrestrial intelligences that might discover them in the far reaches of space. Imagining what could happen if aliens found the Golden Records opens up a realm of intriguing theories and ideas. Imagine, if you will, the Voyager Golden Records floating through the vast expanse of space, carrying the essence of human civilization on their surfaces. These records, a blend of music, language, and images, were sent into the cosmos with the hope that one day they might be found by beings not of this earth. It's a thought that tickles the imagination and raises questions about how we might be perceived by advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. Would they see us as potential allies, or would the contents of these records cast humanity in a more threatening light? The technology behind the Voyager Golden Records is a marvel of the late 20th century. They contain analog information that showcases Earth's diverse cultures through sound and imagery. The very method of encoding analog might seem quaint or even rudimentary to us now, but to an alien civilization, it could represent a critical insight into our technological capabilities at the time of the spacecraft's launch. It's a bit like when European explorers first encountered indigenous peoples across the globe. The technological disparities led to significant misunderstandings about the complexities of these societies. In a similar vein, extraterrestrials finding the Voyager records might misinterpret our technological level, either underestimating or overestimating us based on their own advancements. Beyond our gadgets and gizmos, the golden records offer a window into the human soul. The diversity of languages and expressions of art and science might provide these hypothetical beings with a snapshot of our social structures and behaviors. Yet the selectivity and brevity of this content could lead to skewed interpretations. It's conceivable that extraterrestrials could study these records to understand our propensities for conflict and cooperation. Our history is rife with both, from the intense rivalries and technological races of the Cold War era, which saw the launch of the Voyager spacecraft, to moments of profound cooperation, such as the Apollo-Soyuz test project. How extraterrestrials interpret these dichotomies, our capacity for both aggression and unity, could influence their assessment of humanity. Another angle of interest might be Earth's natural resources, as indirectly depicted through the images and sounds of nature captured on the records. The abundance of water, the diversity of our biosphere, and the variety of climates could make our planet an attractive target for exploration, or perhaps more worryingly, for resource extraction. This aspect mirrors the human history of exploration and colonization, driven by the quest for resources, a reminder of the potential consequences of such encounters. The discovery of the Voyager golden records could lead extraterrestrial civilizations to weigh the benefits of peaceful interaction against the risks of hostility. Considering the vast distances involved in interstellar travel, any civilization capable of reaching the Voyager spacecraft and interpreting its contents would likely have technology far superior to our own. This disparity might incline them towards peaceful engagement, preferring the mutual benefits of cultural exchange or technological collaboration over the uncertainties of conflict. The idea that the Voyager golden records might one day spark the first contact with an alien civilization is nothing short of exhilarating. Picture this. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, an alien civilization stumbles upon these records, a cosmic greeting card from Earth, and decides to reach back out to us. The conversation around protocols for extraterrestrial contact is already underway, though consensus on the exact procedures remains elusive. The SETI Institute has laid out guidelines that include verifying the authenticity of any signal received, managing how information is shared to prevent public panic, and ensuring a coordinated response. Similarly, the International Academy of Astronautics has crafted protocols emphasizing international cooperation and the transparent sharing of data. These guidelines are primarily geared towards signals detected from afar, not the physical encounter implied by the discovery of the Voyager records. The distinction is crucial because the latter scenario suggests that the extraterrestrial beings have the means to traverse the cosmos, potentially bringing them directly to our doorstep. Such a prospect raises the stakes significantly, bringing into focus not just how we communicate but also the intentions and capabilities of our visitors. Effective communication with extraterrestrials presents a formidable challenge, necessitating breakthroughs in how we understand and translate fundamentally different ways of sensing, thinking, and expressing. The records carry a snapshot of human languages and cultures, but the task of conveying the complexity of our societal norms or ethical values to beings from another world would be daunting. Experts in linguistics and communication theory have posited that mathematics, music, or even visual symbols might serve as rudimentary bridges between our worlds, a starting point for building a shared language. This situation isn't without precedent, though any historical parallels, such as the encounters between differing human cultures here on Earth, only offer a rough guide. After all, the gap in biology, perception, and societal development between us and extraterrestrial beings is likely to be vast, introducing complexities we can scarcely imagine. The necessity for a unified global response to extraterrestrial contact underscores the importance of international collaboration. The event of an alien civilization finding the Voyager records and reaching out would undoubtedly be a global phenomenon, demanding a level of cooperation and coordination beyond anything we've experienced. While organizations like the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs provide a framework for managing outer space affairs, they would need to be significantly empowered to handle the nuances of interstellar diplomacy. Ethical considerations also come to the forefront in discussions of first contact. The encounter poses deep questions about humanity's place in the cosmos, the rights and dignities of other sentient beings, and our responsibilities as a potentially technologically lesser civilization. Philosophers and ethicists advocate for a cosmic perspective that values all forms of sentience, urging us to approach such contact with a mindset of peace, respect, and an openness to the profound moral and social implications it entails. The history of European colonization, with its stark lessons on the dangers of unequal power dynamics, serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the importance of ethical preparedness and a commitment to equity and respect in all our interactions, earthly or otherwise. With greetings in 55 languages, sounds from nature, music from various cultures, and a visual depiction of life on Earth, the records are a rich representation of humanity. Yet this diversity and complexity pose a significant challenge to any extraterrestrial beings trying to decipher them. It's like trying to understand a story when you only know a few words of the language it's told in. Enter the universal language of mathematics, often considered a fundamental structure that underpins the universe. This idea suggests that mathematical concepts, from the simple to the complex, are constant and immutable, cutting across cultural and linguistic barriers. For instance, the Pioneer plaque, which preceded the Voyager records, used the hyperfine transition of hydrogen as a basic unit of time, banking on the assumption that any advanced civilization would be familiar with hydrogen. Similarly, the binary numbering system encoded on the Voyager record was chosen for its simplicity and universality, offering a stark contrast to the complexity of human languages, which are deeply tied to our experiences and cultures. But the beacon of hope that mathematics provides does not fully illuminate the path to mutual understanding. The way extraterrestrials might interpret mathematical information, or the concept of encoding itself, remains an open question. Some theorists speculate that alien civilizations could have developed entirely different sensory and cognitive systems, influencing how they perceive and interpret information. Imagine a civilization that evolved in darkness, using vibrations or electromagnetic fields to communicate, encountering the visual and auditory information on the Voyager records. Beyond mathematics, decoding the records might require extraterrestrials to grasp symbols or contextual clues embedded within, not just the data, but also the meta-information about how it's organized and presented. The records include a diagram showing Earth's location based on 14 pulsars, using universal constants to convey information. However, understanding these symbols would require a leap in understanding celestial navigation and mapping, assuming shared knowledge that might not exist.